guys, I hope you're all doing well. We're going to get back into Kate's book today, but today we're reading the second to last story in the book. So next time we'll read the last story in the book. We'll say goodbye to Kate and Max. That's okay though, because we're going to read a new book next week. Anyway, so last time we read 2 good things and 1 bad thing. Let me open up to the table of contents for you. If you remember, the 2 good things that happened to Kate were that they found out that the bone her and Max found was a T-Rex bone. Super cool. And they get to name the bone. I was reading some of your responses from that story. You guys have some awesome names for that T-Rex. Maybe you might have thought of the same one as them. We'll find out today, I think. Maybe. And the 1 bad thing was that they found the T-Rex bone in a state park, so they can't keep the bone. But that's okay. So the story we're going to read today is called The Big Dig. Based on that title, I want you to make a prediction about what you think is going to happen in the story. I have my prediction, but you might have a different prediction. We'll find out. So before we read, I want to go over some vocab words that you might need to know in order to make sense of the story. So we're going to need to know the word expose. Expose means to uncover or reveal something. Okay, we're going to have to know the word lab. A lab is a place where experiments are done. A site is a place. So if you hear the word site, it means a place. Plaster is a wet material that hardens when it dries, and it can be used to protect things. You might have plasters on your wall at home. You might have used something similar to plaster in art class. In this story, plaster is going to be used to protect bones. Wink, wink. Might have to do with your prediction. And the last word you need to know are what picks are. I don't mean like picks like, I pick you, I pick that ice cream flavor. Picks are tools that have a really sharp point that can be used to chip away at rocks and to break rocks up. Okay, so picture that as we read the story. So our story today is called The Big Dig. In this story, we're going to find out what happens when Max and Kate go to the site of the bone dig. So I'm going to go here on the bottom to page 56, and I'm going to make myself disappear as usual. I'll read it to you. You can follow along with me. And then the next time, I will go through it slowly, and you can practice reading it on your own. So I'll make myself disappear. I'll wait for it to load. All right. The Big Dig. You can follow along as I read. When we went back to the cliff, the bone man was there with some helpers. They had scraped the side of the cliff to expose a lot of the T-Rex. So will you dig out all of the bones here on the site? Asked Nan. No, said the bone man. The next step will be to carve this cliff into large blocks of rock. Then we will wrap the blocks in plaster. The plaster will keep the bones from cracking. Then we will use a large crane to set the blocks on trucks. Then the trucks will take them to my lab. Once the blocks are there, we will start digging the bones out of the blocks. Wow. What sort of tool do you use for that? Asked Nan. We use tools a lot like the ones dentists use on teeth, brushes and sharp picks. Kate and I used forks, said Max. How long will it take to carve all of the bones out of rocks? Jack asked. Well, said the bone man, we've got a lot to do. It will take some time because we have to be careful not to wreck the bones. Will you be finished by the end of summer? I asked. No, said the bone man. You and Max will have to visit next summer, and perhaps the summer after that. Then we can catch up on our digging progress. So, said the bone man, have you picked out a name for this T-Rex? Yes, I've picked one, I said. All the diggers stopped digging and looked at me. I said, this T-Rex will be named Max, or if you like, T-Max. All of the men cheered. Max smiled. Aw, that's so sweet of Kate. All right, I'm going to let you read it on your own, remember to pause if you need more time while you're reading the story. Go right ahead. Start with the title, The Big Dig. All right, I'm going to turn the page, pause the video if you need more time. All right, I'm going to turn the page. Remember, pause if you need more time. Take as much time as you need. All right, I'm going to go back to the beginning, make myself come back on the screen. Hi! You like that story? I like that one a lot. Thought it was really sweet that she named the T-Rex after Max. All right, we're going to answer some questions first. Remember, you can talk to me if you're at home by yourself, not by yourself, if you're doing your activity by yourself, or talk to somebody at your house, whatever you want to do. And then we're going to do a Google form after. But first, let's make sure we understood the story. So, why were the helpers scraping at the side of the cliff? Remember to go back in the story. It's on this page if you don't know the answer. Why were the helpers scraping at the side of the cliff? Picture can help you too. You can see the T-Rex there. They were scraping at the side of the cliff to expose a lot of the T-Rex, to get more of the T-Rex bones out. Good. What steps will the Bone Man and his helpers need to take to get the T-Rex bone out of the cliff? It's a lot of steps. Remember to use the story to help you. Ready? So, if we go and read this this paragraph again, it says, the next step will be to carve this cliff into large blocks of rock. Step 1. Then they wrap the blocks in plaster. Then they use a large crane to set the blocks on trucks. And then the trucks take the blocks to the lab, and then they dig the bones out of the blocks. A lot of steps. So they cut blocks into the cliff. They wrap the blocks in plaster. Remember, that's going to help protect the rocks, protect the bones. They're going to lift the blocks with a crane, put them on a truck, and then bring them to the Bone Man's lab where they'll dig the bones out of the blocks. It's a lot of steps. Last question. What did Kate ask? What did Kate want to name the T-Rex? I'll go to the page for you if you forgot. Max, or T-Max. How cute. I love it. All right. Once you're done with the story and reading the story, you're going to go into this Google form called the Big Dig. For this one, there's one multiple choice question. So you're going to read the sentence and pick the best answer to finish the sentence. And then there's, oh, I missed the number 3. I'll fix that. There's 3 questions where you're going to have to type your answer in. All right? If you have any questions, let me know. Next time we'll read the last story in Kate's book.